before it's time to spin, you've got to first cue it up.
I'm probably in your area too. Everybody who owns a laptop, they're a DJ. Everybody who owns a DSL camera, they're a photographer.
And what I'll do is put up blurbs so therefore you can see what I'm thinking about and why I chose that song. You can see the reaction of the kids. So you can kind of like get an idea of how to use it and what to expect.
Why do you want to charge for something that you have the knowledge of and these other DJs don't have the knowledge of? Share your knowledge, you know?
Right.
But it's DJing's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun too, you know? I'm djmikiemike. I cover central, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, parts of New York State.
And I'm Dwayne Dixon, the HitmanDDub from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's time to cue it up. Okay, what's up everybody? And welcome to another episode of the Cue It Up DJ podcast. And look who we have in the building tonight. Off their little mini DJ tour, djmikiemike. Oh, you can go ahead and talk now.
All right, it was a great week. Bunch of gigs. Everything turned out basically fabulous. The gig for the state, which was for patrol, or for probation, parole officers, and corrections officers. They have a seminar for 4 days, and then the last day they have a big party. And this year they decided to have a pool party. Amazing. It was a great party, great bunch of people. I've been doing their gig for 13 years now. But it's funny because they have it on that eastern side of the state, and then they have it on the western side of Pennsylvania. So when they're on the west side, I don't do it there, but they're only there once every 3 years. And they're here on the eastern side for 2 years in a row. So it might be here in Scranton, it might be Poconos, it might be Harrisburg, it might be Philadelphia. But anytime they're on the eastern seaboard of our eastern side of PA, I got the gig. 2 school dances, 2 weddings, everything turned out great. Students were amazing. I loved it. I didn't have to worry. I was prepared anyhow with the correct music for the school dances. But the students didn't even request anything that was off color. They didn't want no dirty music. They wanted clean music. They didn't ask for anything like with dirty lyrics in it. Matter of fact, they wanted some old school hip hop rap, you know, like Sir Mix-a-Lot, stuff like that, Sugar Hill Gang. I'm like, wow, this is great, you know? So it was I was prepared for a challenge, and it turned out I didn't have to prepare for that hard. I didn't even really have to prepare for a challenge with them. But I was ready, because you know how students could be today. It's just that little, if you don't have it, well, what did you have? Oh, I see the sign there. But no, they didn't even go down that road. I was like, unbelievable. I even asked the teacher, did you tell the students not to request anything that was off color? No, like they're just doing this on their own. I'm like, okay. Matter of fact, I got a request for John Denver. I'm like, wow, that's different, you know? Weddings were fabulous. Both the one bride said, play whatever you want. We want everybody to have fun at our wedding. We're not giving you no playlist. We're going to give you our songs to come into our first dance and stuff like that. But from there on out, you are your own boss. I'm like, okay, great. And it was such a fun crowd. The second wedding, the crowd was amazing. First wedding, it was, again, I blame COVID. As soon as they eat, they have their cake, I lost about 65% of the crowd. They're not tunnel vision yet. They want to go home. The people that stayed, they had a great time. Coming up requesting music, and you name it, they wanted to hear from alternative to Cupid Shuffle to Macarena to the Wobble. And it didn't have to be edited because there was no children there and there was no elderly people there already. The elderly people left. The wedding was a weird time. Went from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, or 4 to 4:30 cocktail hour, 4:30 to 5:30 dinner, and then right after that we started dancing. But it was right after cutting of the cake and opening up the dance floor. That's when the majority of the people left. But they were elderly people. I'm saying elderly. I'll be 60, so they weren't a few years older than me. But that's their mindset. They want to get home. That's it. And I blame it on COVID. That right there. That just changed everything for the DJ world, and even for the photographers that work the shows. They don't stay to the end. I know when me and my wife got married, the photographer was there from beginning to end. Now the photographer, if the reception starts at 5, 5 to 6 cocktail hours, quarter after 6 you do the introductions, quarter after 6 to 7 is dinner, and they're leaving by 7:30. Now it just shocks me, it really does. I know they do have a long day, but I'm just so used to the photographer being there the whole day. But the gigs, like I said, they were great. Thank God I made it through,
Yep.
And how are your gigs?
Mine was pretty good. The gig is, I would say, the gig itself, those went well. It's the other stuff that was beyond the gigs. And that's what we're going to talk about in a second before we kick the show off officially. And we have Cool Thing in the chat, and we also have Buddy in the chat. And
Hello, Buddy. Hey, hello, Hunter.
And then Buddy said Mike got a 5-star review. See, they do help. And then you said you had multiple 5-star reviews from this weekend, from your little mini tour. So how many did you get?
I think there's 6 all total.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't ask for one. It just shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really shocked me. I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable, And I never check Google. All some stuff started popping up on my phone. You got a review. You got a review. And I looked at it. I had like 57 5-star reviews on Google. Again, I don't ask for a review. Never, how can we find that? Facebook, that's how everybody finds me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see this stuff coming up, and then all of a sudden I look at it, I have 57 5-star reviews on. Matter of fact, my rating is a complete 5-star on Google. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. It shocked me. It really did. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm busy all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I don't know. I just keep going with the flow. People. Matter of fact, I got a call. If you remember back a few weeks ago, I did an Indian Mother's Day party.
Right.
We talked about that. Well, the lady who had it for her family, it was her daughter, her sister-in-laws, her aunts, everybody that was female. She calls me today, and she's having a surprise birthday party for her husband next year, next September 5th, I believe. And she said, all right, I want to book you right now. I'm like, okay, I know the price is going to be more because there's more people. It's going to be longer hours. Whatever it is, you just tell me. I said, okay, no problem. I said, do you want to know what it is now? She goes, no, tell me that night. I'll just write you the check. I'm like, okay, I know she knows the owners of the venue, so I know she's good for the money, And I was shocked when I got her phone call, booking me a year in advance. But I do already have a couple weddings for 2027. And thinking to myself, Mike, you'll be 62. What are you doing?
But let me suggest one thing to you. This time, remember to put it on your calendar or on your phone so a year later you don't forget that you agreed to do her party on that date.
Oh, it's already in my phone. Her phone number, everything. I know it's the Amber Palace, but I did put that in there also that we're at the Amber Palace. So we're good to go there. And it's just, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
But Indian parties are different. They don't, like how we come in, we have our cocktail hour and everything like that. They do their dancing first. And like the last party went from, I think, 4 to 9. So from 4 o'clock till 7:30, quarter to 8, they did all their dancing. Then quarter to 8, they had their appetizer. 8 o'clock, they had their dinner. 9 o'clock, they left.
Mm.
It was like backwards as compared to what we do our shows as. It just shocked me. Like, okay,
Okay.
hey, whatever you want me to, you're my boss for today.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me. I'm a mobile DJ. That's all I know I am, and I will do exactly what you want me to do for you.
Okay. And going back to the chat, I didn't forget you, Cool Thing. Cool Thing, going back to your song request that you had mentioned earlier in your comment, he says that he got a request for Frank Sinatra at his gig. So that was the pickleball gig he did Saturday. That was like a 6-hour marathon that he did.
I have every Frank Sinatra song that he's ever done. It was compliments of this one bride and groom. They only wanted 2 artists,
Mm-hmm.
Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, and they had every CD from both artists, and that's all they wanted for cocktail hour. I said, well, you don't
Okay.
have to give me all their CDs. Well, we want to cover them, make sure we have it even out throughout the course of the night. We want to hear a Frank Sinatra, we want to hear a Dean Martin song. But they weren't even Italian. They were Polish. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, it's okay. Like I said, when you're a mobile DJ, you're at their beck and call. They're your boss. We're the professionals. We know what should be played, what shouldn't be played. Try to give them some guidance. The old saying is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And then Cool Thing also said it was great working with the professional line dancers. They had great songs picked in their sets.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one of the coolest type of dancing you want to see is dancing from the Roaring Twenties.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
I did 3 of their parties. Spectacular. Spectacular. But the only thing there, the previous DJ had, I guess, a home computer system, home laptop. So the president of the Roaring Twenties committee came up and she handed me 3 boxes of CDs. I said, what are they for? She goes, they're for the gig tonight. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have a CD player with me.
Mhm.
Well, you have a computer? I said, yeah, but it doesn't have a CD player. My PC is a gaming laptop. My Mac does not have no CD player in it either. She's like, well, our old DJ, all he did is played our CDs. I said, well, that DJ, I don't know what type of equipment he had or whatever. I
I
said,
always bring this in my bag. So I
well,
always have
yeah,
an extra one because you never know.
I picked one up after that. So this year I was prepared for it. But guess what she brought me? She brought me a flash drive. I'm like, okay, cool. So I just plugged that in. Boom, that was it. Copy the music off it, put it on my hard drive. I said, here's your flash drive back. She says, don't you need that as a DJ? I said, no, I copied it over already. She
Right.
said, well, I'm glad I made your night a little bit easier by supplying it. She says, I should have communicated with you a little bit better before about, but she was going by what the other DJ had.
Right.
So it's just 2 different worlds. You're dealing with one person. They may have had him for 4 or 5 years. I don't know.
Mhm.
And they picked me up and they loved it. So it was great. I had a great meal out of it too. I had lobster.
Okay. Cool. So let's officially start our episode. We jumped into it just like a WWE match before the bell.
Oh yeah. Bing, ding, ding.
Mm-hmm. So if this is your first time joining us here on the cueitup DJ podcast, this is where DJs of all walks of life, no matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned DJ or any DJ, working DJ in between, a mobile, a club DJ, a wedding DJ, We are all here to connect, learn, and grow. From pro tips to real talk, we are here to support and celebrate the DJ community. In last week's episode, we had talked about the different charts you can go to when you want to try to find the hottest trends or the new songs if you are not listening to the radio as often as you should. And the first takeaway is don't rely on one source of charts, because we looked at several different charts, and we looked at charts for streaming and the radio, internet radio, and radio that you hear in your car. We talked about wedding trends. We talked about the streaming sites like YouTube and Spotify and those charts and Shazam. And then the last one would be use charts to spot trends before they hit your crowd. So in fact, before I get into today's topic, let's go to talk about my gigs. And so I had 2 gigs this weekend. And the first one last Friday was I went back to the school that I retired from for the first time, and they had their junior prom. And I knew they didn't have a lot of kids to begin with, because you would say they have about, if all of them come, maybe 30. At the most, a class might have is 35. So you didn't have that many. But what made this one different was I noticed that there was really nobody there. So even the girl, remember I told you that the list of songs that they wanted me to play? I knew where that list came from because of that click and all that. The click wasn't there.
No.
Yep. I was to say the click was there, but they weren't at the dance. Because what they do is leading up to the prom, they open the the prom to the 8th graders, 7th graders, and 6th graders. So they tell them, if you get suspended, you're done, period. You can't have X number of office referrals or detentions. They give them a criteria.
Yes.
And of course, a lot of them showed up. And when I walked into the building, I saw a lot of people lined up. There was a buku bunch of kids. Come to find out, a lot of them thought the principal was playing. So when they showed up, they thought if they showed up with their parent, they showed up all dressed up, they was going to have, change their mind and let them in. But they did not let them in. Because I was wondering, where's all the people? And then I kept seeing a bunch of little kids. I'm like, why are you here? It's like, you really don't even have a sibling. So that explains why a lot of them wasn't there. And I spent all that time that week trying to clean up songs and make sure everything's in order. And then Sean, if you need help with sound switch, Sean from the DJ Biz School is a good person to go to. And he helped me. He stayed with me till about 3 or a little after 3 o'clock in the morning. It would be Friday morning because it was Thursday when we were after show. But he helped me out and he was able to get me back in order. I had the up lights going, and I had the new Rockville 260W moving heads. So I was ready to go with all the lighting and all that stuff. But as you're going to find out later, that was pretty much all for naught because I didn't get a chance to do it. And I'll let you know why. But on the screen, you can see some video from the dance. And what I ended up doing was a lot of TikTok dances. And I did a lot of the dances that the boys would like. I didn't do a lot of the ratchet hot Cheeto girl stuff because they couldn't come to the dance. So and with the little kids being there, I found out I was playing more of a school dance kind of type, a regular school dance kind of song. Because you remember I told you that a lot of those songs don't go well over with that kind of hardcore group.
Yes.
So I didn't have to worry about that. And you'll see that there weren't a lot of people there, but a lot of younger teachers that were there, they were grooving to the side, doing a lot of dances, and then they were requesting a lot of line dances, group dances. So that's how we did it. And it was only for 2 hours, but I would say they got maybe a little over an hour because, again, a lot of them was outside trying to get in. And then the ones that came in, they were friends with them. So I don't know what kind of dynamics that was. You know, when your friend can get in, but you can't, and that loyalty and all that stuff. So I would say they had just a little over an hour actually of dancing. So they had a 360 there. And they spent a lot of time over there, and then they had food. So they definitely had less than an hour of real dancing.
Yeah.
So that was my Friday gig. And Sunday gig was real good. That was my Sunday wedding. This was a small wedding, and it was really you could see that it really wasn't, they didn't put a lot of money into it. So they wasn't trying to go into debt to start off with a wedding. So they were trying to be very conservative. There I was able to use my uplights that I didn't get a chance to use at the dance. So I brought my slim beams, you know, the lights with the 3 lights that come out of it. Use that behind the head table. I got a chance to finally use my gravity stands, and I put my wash effects on it to give the room some wash. But I thought the stand would be higher. But basically, the gravity stand is the wash effect light was no higher than my head. So I was hoping
And how tall are you?
5'10", and when I let my hair grow, I can be 6 feet.
I hear you. Well, I'm 6'3", but ever since my neck injury, I'm like this a lot of times. So you see me and I'm sloped over, yell into the mic, put something up on the post. Yo, Mike, put your head up, okay?
Yep. So I got the chance to use the wax effects. And I was really surprised at the Rockville Mini RF1s, because when I used it previously, it didn't seem like it gave up a lot of light, not unless the room was super dim. That's the only time I would get that effect, like the way I thought an uplight would work. But in the video, if you look in the far corner, you will see that the lights really put off, they're more powerful than what I gave them credit for. And so I put a few of those around the room.
Are we still on the school dance here? Did you have them on the school dance or?
No, it should be the wedding.
Okay, no, school dance is still up?
Oh yeah, so you got like a 2-minute delay.
Oh yeah, that's how I guess the internet here works. I like your setup. That is cool.
Yep, thanks.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's the standard ones I bought. And then since I didn't have the lights like I wanted to do more than, because they I can go back to the school dance. I could show you. It doesn't even matter because you're on a 2-minute delay, so it's going to be 2 minutes. But anyway, last time you were on the show, you asked me about the gym, whether you could turn all the lights off. If you're looking at the gym, you see like 2 big lights on the side, and I think 3 on the other wall. So it's like we can't like turn. One part of the gym is still bright because it's daylight, and the other part was.
We're at the wedding now. I like that too.
Yep.
I like the lights behind the head table.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sharp dressed man.
Yep.
Yeah, the gravity stands, they don't go up that high.
Yeah, for them to be so heavy. But then I guess it makes sense because you don't want to have somebody put like a speaker on there and then have it go up super high and then it end up tilting over, that kind of stuff.
And
So,
the moving heads too, when they're moving, you watch that stand, that'll actually be swaying a little bit, you know.
but I tried to after Sean showed me, because there was a step that I was missing, because I knew how to analyze everything, but I didn't know the analyze went along with your settings on the side of the sound switch. And the Ruckus, I had asked them for help, and they was telling me about it. But at the time, I didn't understand what they were talking about. So after Sean actually walked me through it, so now I could see how I have everything preset, and so when I analyze my songs, now everything moves to the way I have it preset. So basically, my point was with my moving heads, because I kind of like jimmy the way that it goes on to the stand, because they come with this,
Yeah.
and it's like it's made to work with this. But since I can't get these little washers off, because if I can get these washers off, that would have been straight for me. It's long enough for it can go through the speaker stand that sits on top of the gravity stands.
Yes.
It's long enough for it to go through and lock. But since I couldn't do that, I used a regular screw, because the top of the screw is wide enough for me to stick it through and then slide the top of the screw up in the slot, and it'll hold. Now take these big huge washers and screw it so it's tight and it doesn't move. So with me jimmying it, I knew I didn't want my moving heads to be moving all crazy. So the way I programmed my lights was to have a gradually move. So therefore, I know it's not gonna wiggle its way off the stand.
Just a nice smooth flow, but going back and forth.
Right. So I'm thinking about using those maybe at the June 21st wedding, since I'm going to use the gravity stands with the wash effects lights on it.
Now I do see some DJs putting the moving heads right on the floor, right on their table. I guess it's up to the DJ where they want to put them.
Not if it's Buddy.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's up to the DJ, and also the venues too, because most of the venues around here that I work, like on Sunday, the dance floor was only 12 feet by 12 feet. I mean, it wasn't a big crowd, but basically, I want to say my dance floors are about 16 feet by 16 feet, except like the Amber Palace. They don't have a dance floor, just a big wooden, open, hardwood floor area. And they'll have tables on it, depending on how big the event is. So again, if they have a lot of people there, which it could hold up, I think me and my wife had 350 people at our wedding. So they we couldn't dance on that section of the floor where they would usually put the food out. That's where our DJ had to set up, and then they had to serve everybody. So we threw a monkey wrench into their gig that night. That's 30 years ago. But now you hear a 350 people wedding. It's like, oh my God, how do you prepare for this? You know, and back then, 30 years ago, you had an extra speaker that you could run, your XLR cable to, but you really didn't have that delay that they could hear it. It's just boom, the music came out and that was it.
Yep. So let's get to the chat. Cool thing says,
I like your setup, man.
Yep. I was going to say, cool thing. Basically, let me go back to my school dance, because you got the exact same thing that I have. It's all going back to a comment I made. I don't know if I made it on this podcast or on Buddy's show. It's not pretty much what you have, is how you use what you already have. Because if you look I'm showing the school dance, and
I've seen the wedding.
Yeah, only thing that's different on my setup that Cool Thing don't have is the groovy lights. And you can pretty much go to Target and get those. It's not anything spectacular. It's just something different. But it's all the way. It's all how you dress and use what you have. Because you have uplights, and you have a wash effects, and we have the same booth, and you have the same not the same controller, but you have a controller and a laptop if you decide to use it. So you got the same thing. It's all about the way that you use your setup.
No, my setup is a 6-foot folding table. I bought these extensions off of Amazon because I'm 6'3", and leaning over a table, even though my FX10 is in a case, it's not a flight case because it's just way too heavy to handle. It's too big of a controller to put it in there. And the way it's proportioned, your handle's in the middle, but it's awkward going up steps. And some stairways are hard to get up and around. So I seen these leg extensions. I'm like, oh, this is good. So I bought two of the same brand, but 2 different lengths. And then I bought one that's a metal one. But that one raises it up. I'm 6'3", and it comes up to the middle of my chest, my table does. I mean, that's how high it could come up. So, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise. And then,
oh yeah, you still got to show us the thing that, the little thing. Is that it?
JetPacks, yes.
Yep. And just make sure when you show us it, put it like in front of you or in your face, because when you hold it up, yep.
Right here. These things are amazing. You get 4 of them, you get 12 of them in your order, and each one is an inch. So if you put 2 of them together, you're raising it up 2 inches.
Okay.
So I use 2 bags, which raises my controller up 2 inches. Even though my table's lifted up, now I have these even lifted up higher. It's great. I mean, I don't have the fatigue in my back, plus having a bad back on top of it. They lock right in together. You're not going to worry about them slipping apart. They are rubber. They're not a plastic. You're not going to have to worry about them sliding off the table or whatever, or somebody comes up and hits the table, that it's going to go. I have a facade, but again, most of the venues I'm at, the biggest dance floor is 16 by 16. So, and I usually sit right up against the dance floor, so that if I put my facade up, you're knocking another 1.5 to 2 feet away. Now you're down to a 14-foot dance floor, and you might have 200 people at the wedding. Where do they go? They're knocking into the facade. The facade's wobbling. Even though I tape it down, I use gaffer tape on the back of it. People are trying to sneak through because they're stuck on this side of the venue. They're over on this side. And then the bathrooms are over on this side. So they have to cut across the dance floor. They don't want to go through the people. So where are they going? In front of the DJ. Now you have the facade there. They're bumping into the facade. So I dress up my table. I just put the lights on the table. Sometimes I put a light bar strip. I use the mini RF4s. I put them on the table, and then this is for precaution for every DJ. Your tripod stands are on the floor. Put one light on one side of the outgoing bar, because all my lights are tilted up at the ceiling. Well, not straight up, but at an angle. They see that light there, and they can see the bar that's holding the tripod up or the speakers. They know to walk around that. I'm not having nobody trip over my speaker stand. So that's a little safety precaution for all you DJs out there that don't use a facade. Get the mini RF1s, mini RF4s. You could even buy, I think they have another one by Rockville that are very, very inexpensive. I think they're like $30 a light only. I think you can order them individually. So if you're having 2 stands, just order 2 lights, and it gives the guest enough, it grabs their attention that they see that light, they're not gonna trip over your stand. So word to the wise there.
You would think. But I
Yeah.
bet you it'd be that one person that'll see the light and walk right into the light.
Yeah, yep. And especially if they had a little too much to drink, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes I like to do dry weddings. They're a lot of fun because the people are actually more hilarious at a dry wedding than at a wedding that people are intoxicated at. Usually when they're intoxicated, they get ignorant. It's just you wouldn't think you think they'd be funny, but you always get that one that has the beer muscles.
Uh-huh. All right, and then going back to the chat, Buddy said tons of DJs think that the small arrays are underpowered. Show them this video. You can fill a room with good sound, and that's true. Being that I had a gig on Friday and I used the EV ELX 200s and the two subwoofers, and then going on Sunday and using the column arrays, and I still used my EV sub. Both of them had good sound, loud sound. Only difference was at the school dance, you can actually feel the sound. The sound hit you more, and it was loud, but it hit you more. And when I was trying to talk to some of the students that I stood like a few feet away from the booth, it was hard for us to have a conversation. But
Yes.
on Sunday, when I used the column arrays, if the music was still loud, you could feel it, but it wasn't harsh, and you could still have a conversation right by the booth and understand what people are saying. So that's what I like about those two. I would say you could still do. It depends. It depends on what you want to achieve at your event. Line arrays is more so for filling up a room with like a wash. Think of it as like a wash light of sound, and the power like a regular upright speaker, power speakers. Those would be
Yes.
more like something that you want to throw and hit somebody, feel it almost
Yes.
like a concert sound.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And saying that, the event I had this past Sunday, it was a wedding, and the groom is a drum teacher.
Mhm.
So I brought my QSC K12s, 12.2s, and I brought my two 12-inch EV powered speakers or powered subs. And he's like, Mike, how loud did they get? I said, well, let's pick out a good song for you. He said he loves AC/DC. So I said, how's Thunderstruck? Yeah. Well, the venue is actually a pavilion that they wrap it in this crystal clear, like a vinyl. And I said I had a 12 or 14-foot dance floor in front of me. Then they were about 6 feet up in dance floor. Then behind them, there was like 4 feet, then their table with their cake. So a good, I'm going to say 25, 30 feet. So he's all right, turn it up, Mike. So I turn it up a little bit louder. I turn up louder, turn up a little bit louder. I said, you really want to? He said, yeah, just a little bit louder. Go ahead. So I did that. He said, all right, how about a little bit louder? I said, yeah, take a look at the vinyl that's behind where you're sitting, Jake. He's like, why? He looked at the vinyl. He's like, oh my God, the vinyl was actually vibrating. That's how loud it was. I said, Jake, look I'm on Unity on my speakers. I'm on Unity on my QSC Touch Mix 8. And I'm only on number 3 on my controller. My master going out was only at 12 o'clock, and my trim was at Unity. He's like, oh my God, I've never experienced anything like this from just regular speakers and a regular sub. He's into the column arrays and he's into the line arrays. Or in school teaching the drums. He said, because we want to fill the room. He said, this does more than fill the room. So then he sent his brothers up by the actual inn, which is probably about 250 yards away. It's crystal clear up there. they're up there, they're singing, like, okay, hey, they're having fun. But it was super loud. I don't have them with me. I have them on my keychain. It's a little metal case. They're earplugs, but people could come up and talk to you. You could hear them. So it's not going to opt out one frequency, but you're still able to hear people talk. I used them at the 2 school dances, and I used them at the wedding also.
Okay.
If not, I would have been deaf completely today. It was loud, very, very loud.
Okay. And then Cool Thing went on to say, I personally love SoundSwitch since it works 100% with my Newmark Mixstream Pro. I use it with my Survey Wash FX 2s. I press all the banks, which will go through all the auto banks to put on a good light show. And then
I'm glad that's still working for you, Hunter.
I think, cause I'm trying to remember because he was having issues, or he was talking about it the other day. I forgot what it had something about linking his lights. I had to go back and watch the video on his Instagram live. And then Buddy said, Hunter, 100%. And then Cool Thing went on to say, I personally have 2 12-inch tops, JBL Eons, 612s, and even without a sub, it still fills a room up with sound. Yep. It's all about the way that you use what you have.
12-inch speakers have more of a thump than actual 15-inch speakers. 15-inch, they say, oh, they're louder. Look at the SPL. I don't care if it's 12-inch, 15-inch. If the SPL is the same, that's as loud as they're going to get. They ain't going to get no louder. It's still going to produce that much volume coming out. It could be a 15-inch speaker or a 12-inch speaker. If it's 130 SPL sound pressure, that's loud enough. Believe me.
So why carry the extra weight and then take up more room in your car for a 15?
Yeah, exactly. I had 15s and I sold all of my 15-inch. Now I have 8 pairs of 12-inch tops. 6 are EVs. Actually, the one set of EVs are the old, and they're not old. They're power speakers. But it was the last year they made the wooden cases for them. There's no computer digital readout in the back. All you have is buttons, or not buttons, just knobs, where you turn your volume up to. That's it. You're boom, boom, boom. You're done. You have nothing. Okay, power on, and you're going here alive, dance, club. This is just power on and adjust your volume. That's all, But they are super loud. They're actually louder than the QSCs.
Okay. All right. Now, with that said, now let's get into today's topic.
Oh, no.
And today's topic is surviving the DJ Gauntlet. And we just gave you all the sunshiny, rosy storytelling, great job, 5-star performance of our gigs. But a lot of times these gigs come with a lot of horror stories. So, do you want to start or do you want me to go?
Well, since I started the first, I'll let you go this time.
Okay. I saw this. Well, let's do this. What do you ever have like a DJ nightmare or a nightmare dream? Like when a gig is coming up, what are some of the things that you worry about?
My things I'm worried about, I have to actually typeset it, but I write down a sheet of what I have to take to that gig. Because I find out the venue, what they want, what lights, blah, blah, blah. So I might, write up a sheet, what I have to take. And then as I'm taking the equipment out, I use a highlighter. I make sure I have this, and make sure I have that.
Don't, because now you're going ahead of, you're going ahead of where we're working to. So that's in general, what are some of the things that you you worry about?
I worry about if, honestly, this is the number one concern. When I plug my surge protector in, and I don't have power to it, and I go to the venue and they say, "Oh no, there is power to it." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I have not." Well, maybe your surge protector. I'm like, "No, it's a Furman." No, let me see. Oh no, we still have power to it. I'm like, I have nothing here. Then I'll take it. I'll put it in, like, 'cause a lot of the venues I go to, they have a double, like, two outlet, the outlet and another outlet, but they're run off two different circuits. I'll plug it into the other circuit, put into the other plug, boom, I got power. So that's always my main concern. Am I going to have power tomorrow, or I'm not going to have power?
Okay, so that's your only one?
I don't know. I have a lot more, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm always thinking, don't forget this wire, don't forget that wire. Make sure I don't walk out of the house with my hard drives.
Okay.
If I do that, I got no music,
Okay. So mine is always like, in general, like for when I was working, I always had this dream that I'm laying in bed and oversleep. So school starts at 7:30. I'm still asleep. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I missed the day. As far as DJing, I'm always, because I have stomach issues, I'm always worried about not at the last minute getting sick and not being able to do the gig. And the other thing is always worrying about walking out rushing. And just like right now, I have my computer plugged in, but forgetting the power cord, because I got a whole bunch of stuff on the floor. And then, because I saw a Facebook post like a few months ago, and they asked this question. And my response to them was not only forgetting the cord, but knowing that my computer is charged. And since I do a lot of weddings like down by Columbus, so that's like a good almost 2-hour drive, rushing, hitting shutdown for my computer and closing the laptop. Then when I get to the gig, realize that my computer didn't shut down because Serato is still open and it drained my power. Now I don't have enough power to do that gig. So those were some of my nightmares.
Yes,
So
that.
So let's see. So mine is forgetting my power cord or becoming sick. Yours was not having power or walking out the house and forgetting your hard drive.
Yes. Hard drives are, even the hard drive wires. I'm always like, make sure you put them in the box. Make sure everything is boxed. I always bring two Macs with me. But I stopped basically taking my PC with me. So I have my MacBook Air M1, and then I have my MacBook Pro M2. That's my primary DJ computer. My backup is my M1. The M1 I love it. The only thing is, it only has, I think it's 2 or 3 USB-C ports in it. That's it. The MacBook Pro has the MagSafe, which I love. But again, then you're thinking, don't forget that wire, or don't forget the plug for it, because then what do? At least with the MacBook Air, you could take a USB-C cable, any USB-C cable, and if you have a power pack or a battery that's fully charged, you could plug your MacBook right in there, and you're good. You'll cover the whole set.
Yeah, with the one I have, it's the one that has this. So I bought an extra one because it has a USB-C at the end, but this one has the
MagSafe
one. Yeah, so I have an extra one that I always keep in my bag as well.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah, because many times I have ran out the house and left my power thing here, and luckily I was just going to work at school, but I use my laptop a lot all day, either to play video or music or to do something on my laptop. And a lot of times I'll be holding my breath, hoping that it don't run out. Yes. And then Cool Thing said his biggest nightmare as a DJ is getting to the gig and having enough time to set up and get everything ready to go before the event starts. Okay, so let's see, where do our answers fit in with what was said. This came from the Crate Hackers group, Facebook group, where somebody had asked this earlier. And then I'm going to get into my nightmare.
Welcome to my nightmare.
Mornings every day. The show we have the fun in you, so we all be a walking at you.
All right,
Buddy,
there we
how high do those Astero lights go?
'Cause it didn't look like they go that.
No, I was watching this video and it seemed like they're basically right
Yeah, I
like
want to
10
say.
height.
I want to say they. I thought they looked like they went like 6 feet or something, like the regular height, like my gravity stance.
Yeah. See, I like my lights high. My son's 6'4", so when we set the speakers up, the speakers are at the top of his head, the base of the speaker. So they're 6'4" off the floor, and the lights are roughly 9 foot off the floor. And again, I don't angle them down at the people. They're usually angled up at an angle, so they're reflecting off the ceiling and coming back down to the floor. The lights I put in the front of the table, they're angling up, and this way I'm not blinding anybody.
But I'm thinking, isn't the Asteros is just like some of the other tube lighting that has, you can buy into it to fit on any kind of
Yeah,
like
a
stand or
diffuser.
something, so you can go higher.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could use a diffuser on them too, which knocks down the brightness of it. And I guess, I don't know if they have different levels of diffuser for them. Because I have the cheap Chinese ones, but I haven't used them yet.
Okay. Yeah, I
had them
use
a year
mine
and a
all the
half.
time.
I wish we had bigger venues around here that when I do the Plains Yankees football benefit or banquet, I could use them there because it is a big enough venue, but there's so many little kids running around, and I'm afraid they're going to knock them over or they're going to pick them up and use them as a lightsaber. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. You try to keep eyes all the way around your head. I mean, you're talking children and playing football and cheerleaders from the age of 5.5 or 6 up to 12 years old. And 9 times out of 10, the parents don't care. Kids are just running wild. That's it, you know?
Okay. I was getting ready to say something. Oh, well, you keep getting them 5-star reviews. You're gonna be the go-to guy. So you'll get those bigger. You'll have those Coliseum kind of gigs.
Oh, the biggest gig I honestly I've ever did was 3,000 people.
Okay.
It was a cheer event, cheer competition. It ran from 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening. It was at our local AHL hockey rink, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins. And there was a little over 3,000 people there. I used 4 18-inch subs, 8 12-inch tops, and 2 15-inch tops. And the people said it was so loud. I at that time I only had an analog mixer. I had my Behringer. I still do have that. It was so loud they heard it outside of the hockey rink. Okay, cool. So I was doing something right.
Right.
But that was a rough day.
All right.
That'll be another story.
Okay. So let's see. Let's go to the poll and see what the results were. So
Yay.
the slideshow is surviving the DJ Gauntlet, multiple gigs and one nightmare weekend. Even though our gigs were great, but there was a lot of things that happened. So again, Craig Hackers, the Facebook group, had a poll question, and the question was, what's your worst nightmare as a DJ? And these are the results. So 65 people, or I should say mentions. There was like, I know it was over 100. I want to say it was maybe close to 300 comments. So I just highlighted all the comments and, used Chat GPT to kind of like condense and give me a summary of all the numbers. And 65%, not 65%, there were 65 mentions of equipment failure. So that was like the top DJ nightmare. Second was laptop crashes and freezes. That was 22 mentions. 18 mentions of forgetting a gig. uh, the next one was 17 mentions of wrong song playlists. That happened to me. I caught it just before I played it. And I don't know what drew me to realize I was going to play the wrong interest song. Because I had one version when it was supposed to be something else. And this was this is when I was helping the guy that got me into doing weddings. So he had me set up ready for the reception while he did the ceremony in another venue. So it just so happened before I hit play, I was like, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right. Because what I was hearing, their songs, this version did not, it sounded like it was an oddity. And he said, yeah, because that's the wrong song. Because he gave me the songs, but not the artist. So
Okay.
I forgot what the song was. It was like a Motown song when it should have been like a indie song or something weird. And then we have request ruining a vibe. That was 15 mentions. 14 mentions for power outage or failure. That was yours. A technical glitch also got 14 mentions. 13 mentions of missing items like cords and chargers and all that. 12, I thought about this a few times. 12, bathroom emergency. That's why I'm very leery of eating, especially since I have food allergies. That's the last thing I need, to eat something. And then it's like something with traces of wheat or dairy in it. And then my stomach gets the runs. And then I have to drive home. That's the worst feeling.
Yep. Many times I had to pull over. And not too shy to say that, you know. But that's one thing that's nice with virtual DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to go, you hit auto mix, queue up 3 or 4 songs, and okay, I'm covered. And as long as you can still hear them in the bathroom, okay, I'm still go, okay, I'm good to go, I'm ready. And the last song might be coming on, you're all right, I'm back here now, you know?
And then we have 11 mentions of not getting paid. 10 mentions of wrong venue, date, or address. 10 mentions of drinks being spilled on their gear. 9 mentions of crowd not dancing. 8 mentions of DJ anxiety and nightmare dreams in general. 7, this is like something I was mentioning, 7 mentions of getting sick. And then these last ones all had 6 mentions. One was being a fight at the event, car trouble, or client issues like bridezillas or wedding planners and all that. So those are all the mentions.
That's a sore subject there.
And then Buddy said, when you have many gigs in one weekend, you need to have some help. Having another person with you helps tons. I will pull in a third person with big weekends. Yeah, but still, the nightmare is when you get help, making sure you have reliable help, because that's also an eerie feeling, knowing that you're at your event, you're doing what you're supposed to, and hoping that the person that you got is being responsible and taking care of business, because at the end of the day, that comes back, still come back on you. Like the guy from, what was that, Detroit, that was all on Facebook a few months ago, where he hired people out and people felt like he scammed them or didn't show up or didn't deliver, all that.
I went through something like that. I've been doing this for, it's going to be it's over 21 years now. Maybe about my fourth year into DJing. This couple called me up the Wednesday before their wedding, which was that Saturday, and they're like, "Are you available this Saturday?" I'm like, "Yeah, wait, what's up? Can you DJ our wedding?" I'm like, "You wait till Wednesday before your wedding?" Here, this DJ that they hired, he advertised that he was a local DJ. Fine, so they hired him knowing that he's from Scranton, and he's been a DJ he was a DJ for like 15 years already. So, I'm only a guy that's only doing it for 4 years. They're gonna go with a guy with experience. And here, the problem was, he was a local DJ who worked for a company based out of Nashville, Tennessee. They went belly up. When they went belly up, all the gear he had was owned by this company from Nashville, Tennessee, and he was not allowed to use it. Now, not that I'm my own DJ, and I might be or I'm a DJ and I'm working for a company, I'm getting paid. I'm gonna, get some of my own equipment in case something happens with this company. If they cut me loose, my name is known already in this valley, so I have my own equipment. May not be as good as their equipment, but I could still make it work. Well, this gentleman didn't do that. He just relied on their equipment. So when they claimed bankruptcy, he was not allowed to use their equipment. And he called them that Wednesday because that's when he found out that they claimed bankruptcy, and equipment had to be packed up and shipped back by the next morning. So he was stuck, and he said, I'm so sorry to do this to you. He did refund them the money. Again, I only had 4 years experience. I didn't have really, I think I was still using, no, I already bought a controller. But again, I was very inexperienced. It was like, I think my second wedding I've ever done. So they told me the only thing we're concerned about, Mike, our introduction song, our first dance, and our parent dances. That's it. We don't care whatever you want to play, you just play. We're going to trust your judgment. It's okay, no problem. But I felt so bad for that couple, knowing that they had a DJ that they put all their trust into, who advertised as a local DJ, and just pull the rug right up from underneath their feet.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really check into the DJ that you're booking. Are they working for themselves, another company? It may be a co-op DJ, but they may also have their own side stuff, like Will. Will, he works for Frankie Carl, and he goes out on his own. Now me and him are teaming up together. I think it's gonna work out very well for us because we basically have the same personalities and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be able to offer more. He's bilingual. I might be bipolar. I don't know. But I love being with people. He loves being with people, but we're like peanut butter and jelly. We work very well together, and I passed so many gigs out to him already, and I never want a dime. He's like, Mike, I gotta give you something. I'm like, no, I don't work that way. If I can't do the gig and I know it's for a friend, or may not even be a friend, a client calls and say, hey, listen, I'm having a wedding, I'm having this, I'm booked. Well, so-and-so, and it's my cousin or my sister or whatever. Okay, I'll find you a DJ. I know a lot of DJs, but there's only 2 that I refer out. And the one guy went into the service, so I can't refer him out. I will refer Will out to anybody at all. And now that we're going to team up, we're just trying to come up with a name for the little co-op business and get that off the ground too. It'd be nice. And then if we could, see, I go by djmikiemike. Everybody knows me. Somebody else shows up at my place. Well, where's Mike at? So if you have just this, not generic name, but DJ lighting sound professionals, they don't know who is the owner. Are you a worker? Are you what? It's just, I'm DJ Mikey Mike. I'm working for DJ Lighting Sounds Productions or whatever. So they're taking on face value. You are a good DJ too. So that's the thing. When you make your own label or your own branding and you brand it to yourself, you're stuck to yourself. Basically, you could hire other DJs to work for you. Like when a couple of weddings I passed to Will, and I think it was a Sweet 16, our graduation party. He said, well, what do I do? I said, just introduce yourself as you. You're not representing me. They're booking you. Yeah, but you got me the gig. I'm like, I don't care. That's your money. But no, Will, I don't work that way. You know, and he's just a very kind-hearted man. Very, very kind-hearted man. And it's good to have somebody you could rely on. You know, it's like you said about getting sick. What do? I have a bad back. I have a bad neck. I had to pass up a couple of gigs this year because of my injury. I passed him over to Will. He picked him up for me, which was great. I was so appreciative of it. Early in the year, I had to pass over 2 gigs to Tyler before he went away into the service. Yesterday, I thought it was 18 shots. I counted them today. I had 22 trigger point injections in my back. And in a month from now, I go back for another 22. Just had nerve burns done. I'm falling apart, you know? But I'm still doing what I love to do, too. But I'll say this. If it wasn't for my son, my daughter, and my future son-in-law, might have got this one school dance out, but the rest of them, I wouldn't be able to do by myself. There's no possible way. So I thank God for them. They're the muscle behind the brains. I guess I'm the brains and they're the muscle for it. You know? Mm-hmm. They ask me, how can you talk in front of people like you do? I don't know. Just get the gab, I guess. You know? Mm-hmm. I'm usually a quiet person.
No, you don't talk too much, Mike.
No.
Well, this past Friday, my nightmares finally came to life. So I want you to take a look at this picture from the junior prom on Friday, and I'll describe it to you since you're on a 2-minute delay. See if you're going to catch it. But anyway, the dance starts at 5 o'clock, so it's about 4:20, 4:25, and I have everything set up. So I'm on the last part of setting things up to start the music. So I'm going to give you a moment to take a look at this picture and let's see. And if you're in the comment section, or the chat section, make sure you try to chime in. So here's my setup. And this is at about 4:20, 4:25, about almost a half hour before the doors open. All right, so I'm going to go real slow so I don't give it away. So in the picture, I have my laptop. I have my DJ booth. And jump in once you see the picture, Mike.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
Remember, I'm looking over here, so I'm not going to be able to see it. So just jump in and let me know when you see it. Then I'll be quiet because I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
Oh, Buddy got it. All right, and then you could see my controller. You could see the XLR cords coming into my mixer and then out my mixer. You see my subs. And then you see the power cords. You didn't see the picture yet?
No.
Man,
I know.
Man, you're
but
at
least we're not freezing up today, or I'm not. You know.
Hey, shh! We don't want to bring that gremlin that I posted on Facebook to come.
I know. Thank God.
So, all right, Cool Thing got it. Let's see if DJ Mikey Mike.
I see their post, no tops.
Yep, you got it. I felt so stupid because I went to the storage unit Wednesday. I loaded everything in my car so I wouldn't have to worry about it. And after I loaded everything, I was like, I still have a lot of room. And it never dawned on me that I didn't bring the 2 top speakers because I gotten so used to bringing my column array speakers where I have the big block and then the long bags. So I had the long bags, but the long bags were of my glow tubes and a gravity stand and all that. This is why you have a van for the business. That's what I'm going to bring up later on. But for those that don't have it, there's another alternative that you can have if you don't have like a trailer or a Pacific vehicle big enough to put everything in it. And Buddy's hitting it right on the head because normally I don't forget things, and I looked, but because last week was different because now we got the show, so it's like I'm planning for the show. I was also that Wednesday was also the day that what did I do? Oh, Wednesday, I had to run and set up the stage for the dance. The stage that you see there, I had to set that up at my school. Then while I was out, I figured I'll run and try to get my equipment because on Thursdays, it's all about prepping. It's all about trying to meet up with you. And then I got to run out and do private drum lessons to run back here to do the show. So I tried to fit everything in on that Wednesday. So after I set up the stage, I ran and tried to do the storage unit, load up my truck to make it back because I had to meet with the final meeting consultation time for the client that I did the wedding for that Sunday. So I'm busy running, and then I'm still trying to figure out this sound switch thing going on. So there's a bunch of things that normally I don't do that threw me off of my normal routine.
Yes.
So now that we realize that, good thing the school is 20 minutes away from the storage unit. And then also, I told them what happened, and they said, well, the kids are not going to be on time anyway. And of course, they weren't on time because they was all outside, and a lot of them was fighting to try to get in because, they didn't meet the criteria to get in.
Yeah.
So I didn't miss anything. So basically, I got back to the school and got the music going about 5:10, which was okay because the kids didn't really start coming in until like 5:25, 5:30. So they didn't miss anything. But still the fact that I forgot that, and it's still the fact that I hold myself at a high standard, is like I felt like that bad DJ that $200 DJ. That $100 DJ.
Yep. I hear. I feel your pain there.
Because I almost thought, because they have a set of altos there, but I'm like, I couldn't do that because the altos I think might be an 8 or a 10. It's small, and it was crappy at best. I was like, I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's like it's better for me because it's still early enough where I had all my lights out because the thing was to set the speakers up so I can at least get the music going because I always play like a pre-recorded mix just to hear the sound, to check the sound, and to make sure that's going good while I put up the lights and all the extra stuff. So I had to quickly throw my light bags behind the, I guess, what you call the acoustic reflectors.
Okay.
So all the black stuff that you see in the back is pretty much my light bags. Because I did bring my moving heads, I did bring the uplights, I did have the glow tubes. But it's like I knew when I came back, the kids would be coming in, so I didn't want to have junk that's all over the place. So I at least cleaned it up before I left. So just remember, Nightmares happen, but preparation is your superpower. So the thing is, when you have issues or a bad gig, you could still have good gigs. If you were with us at the beginning of our show, we talked about all the good things that happened from our gigs, and our gigs were still good, and they still had a great time even at the dance because the kids didn't know any difference. They just know that I was there and the music was playing when they finally came in. But the thing is, it's a bad gig regardless if you don't learn from your mistakes. So because of that mistake, I think that made my Sunday wedding a whole lot better because now I'm focused. Now I did the checklist because I have a checklist. I just stopped using it because I'm so used to everything falling in place. But I definitely brought up that checklist, and I'll show you my checklist a little bit later. I forgot. That's the one thing I forgot to pull up, the checklist that I do use. But I did create a checklist, and I was going over it, that's nonstop. It got so bad that Sunday, before I headed out to the gig, while I was eating, I couldn't eat because my stomach is now all turned because I'm so worried about forgetting something else.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing, though. It wasn't just I forgot my speakers. Because of that, I was like, because normally if that hadn't happened, I would have waited till Sunday. I usually keep my suit in my bag. You know, the suit bag, and it hung up. I make sure I go wash the shirts and everything is hung up, ready to go iron. So the only thing I have to do is just grab the bag. I check the bag. Why was my pants not in there?
Oh boy.
I was like, I don't even remember taking out the pants and using it with something else. Even if I had wore the pants, they would have been laying on my dirty clothes. Because really, since I'm retired, I don't have to dress up every day. So I'm almost wearing the same stuff. So it was like one thing after the other. So I'm glad I didn't wait till 9 o'clock when the stores are closed that I wouldn't be able to go and get the pants. So it was like 7 o'clock. So I quickly ran around to Macy's, and the brand of suit that I have, I guess you could say it's the regular brand that they have because there's a whole bunch of them where they have a whole bunch of different sizes and you can mix match. It's not the suit and pants it's made to go together. It's made similar where you can, if you're big on the top, you can grab the size jacket that fits you, and then there's the pants that matches that same kind of fabric. So if you're small, because I'm small in the bottom, but I'm small, but I'm tall, so I have to get like a small waist but long legs. So good thing they had a bunch of those, that's my sizes, so I didn't have to do any kind of alterations. Because the pants,
that's good.
Right, the pants that I bought that I'm missing, that I still haven't found, I had to get alterations on it. So that worked out. And then it was one more thing, because something happened when I got to the wedding. But I'm glad that I showed up there, because the wedding was only about 45 minutes from my house. So I didn't have to travel far. But I got there super early. And I was finally able to get my case cleaned out. So basically wrapped all the wires and cords and cables that I wasn't using, finally got those cleaned up. And since I didn't have to rush to get out the venue, I was able to put everything back neatly. But it was something else that was off, but I can't remember. But that was my nightmare. I couldn't believe I missed the speakers. Had everything else. But
now,
here, go ahead.
Now, your venues, how much if you're like, say you're doing ceremony plus reception, the ceremony's at 3 o'clock. What time will they allow you to come in to start setting up?
It varies. It varies. It could be a couple of hours and a couple of hours after. But then it also depends on the person who rented out the venue and how they want to do their parties. Because some people, because it's like the one at the black and white ball I did at the motorcycle club. Her thing is, she rents the venue out. Let's say she rents it for 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So she will hire me to go from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I'm like, but what time can I get in? It's like, then she'll say 6 o'clock. I'm like, that's when the party starts. Because you also want me to do the flyer and all that stuff. I can't put 6 o'clock on there if the venue don't open till 6 o'clock. And then I also got to check with her. I was like, we can't end at 12 o'clock if, one, the venue said I have to be out by 12 o'clock. So that means you either, I'm going to bring a small amount of equipment that I'm going to just be able to set up and do within less than 30 minutes. Therefore, I can go to like 11:30 and I can be out. Or if you want me to bring this setup, then you're going to have to start the party an hour or two after your venue, time, and end it like a good 2 hours before the end time. Yep. But this was a lodge, the Ravenna Elk Lodge, and I guess her grandfather, and some other of her family members are members of that lodge. So they were able to open it up at 12 o'clock. So they had their ceremony, I want to say at 3, and it was somewhere else. And then our thing didn't start till 4, because it was from 4 to 7:30. But they said the bar, because they have 2 parts to the venue. They had the part where they had the wedding, but over here they had like, when they took me around it when I did the site visit, I guess it had some like games, pool table, bar, slot machines, and all this other stuff. So I guess that stays open the whole time. So that didn't close until 9 o'clock. So I had a good almost 2 hours I could clean up and get out of there. So I didn't have to rush.
That's good. Most of the venues around here, especially if it's the first time DJing at the venue, I mean, I might have been to that same building, but venues do exchange hands a lot around here. And the new owners come in and they have their own policies. And it's like, well, say I'm not doing the ceremony, I'm just doing the reception. That starts at 5 o'clock. Okay, we'll let you in at 4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, do you understand? I have to go 2 flights of steps. I have lights. I have up lights. I have moving heads. I have, the ball light that goes around. Okay, we'll let you in at 4 o'clock. I'm like, you're not giving me enough time to set up. And I know what the setup takes in there because I know the previous owners. I DJ there 500 times. It takes me a good hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. And that's even with me. And this is when I was healthier yet. Me, my son, and my daughter and her boyfriend, fiance, it'd be all of us going. But it still took that amount of time because, first of all, we have like a 50-foot run of extension cord back to the back wall, come out to us, and then the lights, the one receptacle, it does have power, but it's so bad, it's so loose, it's unreal. Even if you tape it down, I'm afraid somebody's going to come by and just hit that wire and boom, it's going to fall out of the socket. Then you're not going to have no lights. Mm-hmm. So there's other receptacles on the other side of the room. So you got to plug the lights into there. I mean, just a nightmare the way it's set up. And they're grandfathered in. They're never going to change that setup. So it's like, well, you got to give your DJ or entertainment more time. It's so funny because like they'll give a DJ an hour, but they'll give the band, like if there's a band playing, they'll give them, say, okay, again, the reception starting at 5, the band can come in at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, you're giving them 6 hours, but you're giving me an hour? Oh, yeah, they're a band. Yeah, but they don't tuck their wires away. They don't do everything, just wires are all over the place, but they're a band. So it's like, hey, they get more hours than us. And then I had one venue who told me I had to be broken down and off the premises within a half hour. If I wasn't, I had to pay their staff overtime. We were broken down out of there in 17 minutes. I've never seen my son move that quick in my life. He goes, Dad, we're not paying them no effing overtime. I'm like, you got it, sir. But you want me to talk about my nightmares?
Go ahead before we get into like the suggestions of how to overcome those nightmares and prevent those nightmares for even happening.
Okay. Well, the one wedding I did this past week, again, it was a pickup for my buddy who joined the service. His boot camp got moved up earlier, so he was graduating the day of the wedding. No way he could swim himself in two. So he asked me kindly, could I take the wedding for him? And he has taken gigs for me in the past, helped me out prior to him going into the service. If I was double booked or if I knew somebody really needed a DJ and I knew them very well, even if I didn't know them very well, I know they need a DJ. I'm getting them a good DJ. They're calling me. They must know. They must have heard that I was a good DJ. Since I'm booked, I want to make sure I could give them something that's same quality as me. That's not going to throw them in a baloney line. So this bride was supposed to meet me 4 different occasions. 4 different occasions, she just blew me off. Text me, I'm on my way. Text me, I'm in traffic. 10 minutes later, I'm sorry, I can't make it. I'm like, you're kidding me. Now, the week of the wedding, she does the same thing. Mike, leaving my house now. Okay, I'm almost there. I text her when I get there. I said, all right, are you almost here? How close are you? I'm here. I'm on the 3rd table since you walk in. Okay, Mike, I'm stuck in a little bit of traffic. I'll be there shortly. Okay. So I'm thinking shortly, so like 5 minutes, maybe 10 tops. Now it's a half hour later. No bride. And all of a sudden I get a text. I'm sorry, I can't make it. Like, this is the week of your wedding. I need to have a sit-down conversation with you. Not a phone call, not texting. I want to sit down face to face because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So that same week of the wedding, she texts me, Mike, what's a good day for us to meet? Whatever day you want, except for Tuesday, except for Thursday, and except for Friday. Why not? 'Cause I'm busy. I have gigs those days. Oh, okay. How's Wednesday? Okay, sounds good. What time? How's 1 o'clock? Perfect. I'll be there. Wegmans Cafe. Well, I'm there. 1 o'clock. I'm waiting for her. She works right down the road from there, and one text. On my way. Had a little delay leaving work. No problem. I'm here waiting. She works maybe about 8 minutes away. Get another text. I'm sorry I can't meet with you today. I will text you later what I need. And I will send you the wedding planner. I'm like, oh, okay. I get the wedding planner. She sends me a text, 5 songs? Video clips from YouTube videos. I'm like, what the hell are these for? She sends me a text. My brother wants to dance with my mom to this song. Well, I have 5 songs, so I take a screenshot, send it back to her. I said, listen, honey, you sent me 5 songs. what song does your brother want to dance to your mother with? The song I sent you. He sent me 5 of them. I texted her again. You sent me 5 songs, but which one do you want? Which one are they going to dance to? The song I sent you. Oh my God, I'm not going through this. Okay. I have the 5 songs already. I put them in a special folder in my weddings virtual folder called Brother and Mother. Brother and Mother, he eloped, so they never had a formal wedding, and he never got a chance to dance with his mom. So this was his time to shine, because I heard she blessed him about running away and getting married. Well, I put the song on, and the bride comes running up to me. She's like, Mike, it's the wrong song. I said, hang on. Here's my wedding planner. You never filled in that song in there. To be announced. Here's what you announced to me. 5 songs. I sent you the screenshot. You have your phone? Yeah. Look at the screenshot. Look at the inbox that you sent me. Look at the inbox I replied to. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I didn't tell you which song it was. I'm like, oh boy. So, okay. That's said and done. We got the right song off for them. Then on my wedding planner, I go by my wedding planner. I don't go by anybody else's baloney, even if it's from a wedding planner or a wedding coordinator. I still go by what the bride and groom write down on my stuff. That's it. I don't play no games there. So on my wedding planner, it says, do the introductions, the dances, the specialty dances. Then we're going to have, what do you call it? The toast. And the one young lady that's giving the toast is the lady in the wedding party. I'm like, it's kind of strange you're not having the best man or the maid of honor give the toast. They're just having one person from the wedding party, like a bridesmaid. Okay, well, here, the bridesmaid that gave the toast and the speech, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. They were friends from kindergarten. So I'm thinking, well, that's a special thing. That's why she chose her to give the toast. Then the caterer asked me, can I make an announcement after everybody sits back down, from the toast or whatever? I said, yeah, it's no problem. Tell them that one of our staff members will be at each table to dismiss them from the table. So, which I did. Next thing I know, here comes a photographer up to me. She goes, Mike. I'm like, yeah. You forgot about the best man and the maid of honor giving their toast. I said, no, I didn't. Yeah, they're giving a toast too. I said, here's my wedding planner. Do you see the, best man or maid of honor giving a toast? No. I said, well, here's what I got. This is what I'm going by. So she quick runs up to the bride. The bride comes running back with her, and she's like, oh my God, Mike, I forgot to tell you. I emailed you that this morning that the best man and the maid of honor are going to give a toast now. I'm like, you should have just shot me a text or an inbox, not an email for that. But even if you did email it to me, shoot me a text. Can you please check your email? I made a little few changes to the reception area. But no, the only thing she did do is that Friday evening, she sent me a text stating that the event is held at a barn. The ceremony's out in the field. I'm like, okay. And the venue, they rented the equipment off him to play the music out in the field. I'm like, okay, no problem. I called her. I said, listen, I prefer to use my own equipment because I don't know who the DJ was last that used this equipment. He or she blow up the speaker, and I'm plugging my stuff in, and it doesn't work. Oh, it's a blowing speaker. Guess who's paying for it? Me, because I'm the last one who touched it. So she said, Mike, we paid $500 for this equipment. I'm like, okay, I can't wait to see this. I'm thinking, well, it should be pretty decent because I know what I paid for my Verse 8. It ain't going to be the same caliber as that, but it should be decent equipment. The equipment is so old, it's not even on eBay. the speaker has to be over 30 years old. All it has is what do you call it? Oh my gosh, a preamp in it. One row of XLR and like 3 rows of RCA cables. Nothing labeled because they're so old. All the labeling fell off of it. So the wedding coordinator comes in and I said, I can't use these speakers. Why not? I said, I don't have my plugins. I don't have the attachments. I use XLR. That's why I'd rather have brought my own equipment. So I told her, now I got to take my main speaker. I got to take my main mixer with me. I got to take my main controller with me. I got to go up to the field a mile away. Get everything back in the car. And I had this young lady stopping me from going up to play music for the ceremony. She says, you can't drive up that way. I say, yeah, I have to because I have to play music for the ceremony. And she's like, oh, no, you can't drive up that way. I told her, I said, listen, you got to move the cones. If you don't move the cones, I run them over. Any damage is done, your boss is paying for them. I get up there. The wedding coordinator asked me one thing, what do you need for up there? I said, 6-foot folding table. Mike, it's done. No problem. And again, I'm so sorry. Like, okay. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the bride and groom. This company sucks $500 off them and doesn't even have music for their ceremony. They expect me to play music out of the speakers that they have, which they set up in the wrong place. They had it set up in the barn. They didn't even have it up by the little fancy little thing that they have out in the field. So I asked wedding coordinator, what can I set up at? Well, you can't set up here by this little chateau or whatever you want to call it. I'm like, well, where do I set up? Oh, about 150 feet away. You got to be kidding me. And she gives me this little table, which would be a lamp table for in the living room. 2 foot by 2 foot by 18 inches high. I said, what do you expect me to do with that? You can't use it? I'm like, I asked for a 6-foot table. Oh my God, Mike, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I'm like, it was such a disaster. So, after the dances and stuff, everything went so smooth. Like, yeah, like I said, the elderly left early. There's a younger group after that. Danced every song. It was a great night. The venue let the bride and groom down. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. They should refund them the $500 that they paid for this equipment because honestly, I found one set of speakers on eBay that were made by the same company, but they're newer because they actually have an amplifier in it and it has Bluetooth in it, and the speaker is only $35. So you figure if they have 2 of them, it's $70. But now you got Bluetooth, you have XLR or 1/4-inch inputs. This guy charged $500 for 2 way outdated speakers. I felt bad for the bride and groom on that aspect, but then it taught me a lesson. You have to be, as the DJ for, I don't care what event it is, but especially a wedding, gotta be more demanding. I let this bride go. I just, okay, all right. No, I'm going to be, listen, if something goes wrong, it's on you, not on me. You're refusing to meet with me. End of story. That's it. Yeah, I couldn't have been any kinder to her by allowing her to skip each meeting. With her skipping each meeting, it just put so many setbacks into the wedding, into the reception. Just wasn't mental errors on my part. It cost them $500 for equipment that I couldn't use. Wrong song played for the mom and brother. Mistake on the bride's part. And there was a lot of mistakes on her part by putting just the name of a bridesmaid to say toast, not the maid of honor and not the best man. See, all that stuff, when you meet with the couples, you get a chance to go over stuff. You get to see it, they get to see it, and you say, oh, wait a second, this doesn't look right. Don't you want the maid of honor and best man to give a toast too? They say no, then it's okay, because now you have confirmation. They said no. I had no confirmation, nothing at all. So to all the DJs out there that do weddings, be more demanding on the client. Make sure they meet with you at least. If they don't want to meet with you the 3, 4 other times prior to the event, make sure they meet with you that day or that week of the event, not the day, but that week of the event. And expect a change or two that Friday, maybe early Saturday morning. But with technology today, you could be out in the middle of the field nowhere and set up a hotspot and end up getting a sign that you may need for something. Maybe for the bridal party, you walk down the aisle, they chose a different sign now, so it's okay. Yep, I'll get it for you. Boom, boom, boom. You get it, you play it. But again, you should have to put yourself under that pressure. That pressure it killed me, exhausted me. I never felt that beat up after a wedding like this. I was like, and again, even towards the end, the wedding coordinator kept on apologizing. I think it was more the venue and the wedding coordinator that didn't step up to the plate. And my honest opinion, I'm not picking on wedding coordinators. I know there are a lot of great wedding coordinators out there, but the best wedding coordinator it can be for any wedding is the DJ. This past Sunday's wedding, I handed the videographer the timeline, and I handed the photographer the timeline. They were like, "Oh my God, this is the timeline for today?" I'm like, "Yeah." Now the photographer's been in business over 10 years. She's like, "This is the first time I got a timeline." The videographer just started last 2 years ago. He's like, "This is the first time I got a timeline too." I'm like, "I gotta take care of you guys. I don't want to have to go looking for you, getting the bride and groom in order. Then I find you, then they're gone." It's like, no, this way I give you the timeline. Cake cutting is at 7:12 or 7:20, whatever. We're all good. We all know it's 7:20. We got to meet by the cake. Bride and groom know that because guess what? They have the wedding planner with them too. This way, we're all on the same page. So being more proactive, don't let the bride and groom walk all over you. If they can't meet with you, have them send somebody that's reputable to meet with you. I don't care who it is, if it's the maid of honor, one of the bridesmaids, a parent, whoever. This way you could hand them stuff, you could ask them stuff. There's no communication. There are going to be errors. There's no ifs, ands, buts about that. But for the school dances, I had no problems there at all. Like I said in the beginning, I was prepared for those off-color songs with the F-bombs and this and that and the racial slurs, and not one request for them. So, which was a blessing for me. Friday was 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. I seen Hunter was there. He did his was 9 to 3. So he did 6 hours. I did 9 hours. It was a grueling week. Made it through it. I'm here. I'm happy. You happy, Dwayne?
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you do get multiple gigs like that, it does take a lot of mental pressure on you. No matter how many people you have helping you set up, you're still the guy behind the microphone. You're the one who's making the last call. The other people set you up, and then my son, my daughter, her fiance, they all went home. I was there by myself. I'm the one who's, I have the target on my chest and on my back. Every DJ's that way. They all have the targets on them. So you made the mistake without no speakers. I made the mistake about not being more proactive and demanding on the client. That's please, any DJ watching this, if you are DJing a wedding, make demands so you don't make a mistake. And when you make a mistake, the guests that are sitting there, they're just taking it as a mistake. They didn't know the bride didn't communicate with you. So be sure you get that down. Get the communication with them. If they refuse to communicate with you, well, you tell them, and you even make an announcement at the wedding. Say, hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, there are there might be several things that were missing off of my wedding planner. So we're just going to fill in the blanks as we go along. This way it takes that weight off your shoulders.
So you take the weight off your shoulders by throwing other people under the bus?
Yes. Well, because it's not your mistake. You're doing your part. You're trying to set up the meetings with them, and they keep on blowing you off. So it's like,
so
how much
do you just do it in person? You don't try to do it over the phone or on Zoom or anything?
Well, I wanted to do a Zoom call with her. She wouldn't do that. All she did is kept on inboxing or texting. That was it.
So you couldn't use.
You don't even talk on the phone.
You couldn't. Huh.
The only communication I got from her was either an inbox through Facebook Messenger or a text message. And that's how I got the 5 songs, is through the text message. So I took a screenshot of it. I sent it back to her. I said, well, which song? The song I sent you. I said, but look, you sent me 5. Which one is it? One of the 5. Which one is it? Yeah, that song, the one I sent you. I'm like, but there's 5 of them there. So when I had the wrong song on, she came up, like, it's the wrong song. I said, okay, now you got a choice of 4. Which one is it? Here, they're on my screen. Point to it. Let me know. Okay, it's that one. Beautiful. Let's go. We'll get it off with them right now. And it went flawless. I mean, it was a great wedding, but just that lack of communication. I mean, if I did have her on the phone the one time, and I think it lasted for about 40 seconds. And she goes, I have to go because my future husband's coming home. I have to have dinner ready for him. I'm like, really? Your wedding's coming up. Don't you want to discuss this? And he really didn't care about nothing. You know, he was just having a wedding. That's it. You know, boom. There was no, yeah, he's happy. He got married to her, but there was no, I guess maybe he left all the responsibility on her. So maybe that's why she might have been running all over the place too. I have no idea. No idea.
Right.
But I know she did the same thing to the photographer too.
All right. So let's get back to the chat, because Buddy had said the same thing too. He says, I do a walkthrough on Zoom in some cases, and that's what I'll do too, as a Zoom conference call.
Yeah.
And then he went on, who's on first, and then what's on second. But I don't know, it's on third. So he was making the Abbott and Costello joke.
Yeah.
Who's on first. Going back to everybody pointing the wedding planner not knowing what to do. And then he says, this is why I use Bible. And that's why I use Bible as well. Because I think your client would have benefited from using Bible. Therefore, everything was digital, and then she could work on it at her leisure.
She didn't have time for a phone call. I mean, I don't think even Vibo would have worked for her. And I mean, I emailed her everything. The PDF that I sent her is, you could, work right on it and send it right back. You could do all the editing. So it's basically something like a Vibo. She could type in whatever she wanted to hear, what kind of lights she want, what this, what that, boom, boom, boom. I just took it. I said, all right, I'm going to bring my chroma Canons with me. I'm going to bring my mini Par 4s. And the one thing she did mention, she wanted laser lights. And that was in that phone call that I had for about 15 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
So I had my laser lights ready, but I didn't have a chance to put them up because we were so constrained on time. When we got done with this, well, first, another thing is the ceremony, they were almost a half hour late for the ceremony. And by the time that got over and broke my stuff down, got it in the car and got back down there, we finally got music on at 10 after 4. And cocktail hour, we're 10 minutes short of music there. But again, it wasn't my fault because the venue gave us speakers that were, I don't know how old. They have to be over 30 years old because they were preamps only.
Okay.
I mean, I believe what Buddy says, too. I I was never to that venue, but I have pictures of it. I went through their website. It's a very, very beautiful venue. But the problem is the owner of it only lives in Pennsylvania part-time. And I don't know if it's a family member that's the venue manager. And the wedding coordinator tried calling him, texting him. Finally, she got through to him at 7:30, 20 to 8. And the reception was over at 9 o'clock. So it's like, why did he even keep trying to call him? The ceremony's over. We don't need them now.
All right.
Again,
Go ahead.
Even if it was newer equipment, again, it's not my equipment. I don't know what the other DJ, how he used them prior to me using them. He could have blew up the speaker. And I don't know. I don't want to be, I'd rather my stuff. If I damage it, it's on me. In the story.
Yep. But we need to give a moment of silence. Cool Thing just mentioned that his hard drive, after 5 years, had finally died. So, yeah, I wish it.
Which one was that? Cool Thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably because he kept jumping from different DJ software. He wore it out.
Yeah.
And then Buddy said, Bible is an app, not an email. The Gen Z customers wants to use a phone. Because that's what I was inference. Because it sounded like she would have worked better with Bible working at her leisure on her phone, and you could see it and go back and forth that way.
Yeah. I thought, according to my buddy, she communicated good with him. She was on the phone with him and everything. Mm. And then when he told her that he joined the service and he wouldn't be able to do the wedding, she talked to me, like I said, for about 15 seconds, and that was it. And after that, it was just texting and inboxing. She was inboxing me through Facebook Messenger like 11:30 at night. Then she begins, sending another instant message at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, then again at 11 o'clock in the morning. So apparently she was doing it from work, probably on her phone, or was she doing it from her computer at work? I have no idea.
I thought your green dot just be on during those times anyway.
Okay, see, I don't use Stripe, but
let you know, because sometimes I'll be working late, and I'll be up like 1, 2 o'clock. I still see a green dot by your name. I'm like, what you doing?
Well, my phone is always on. That's why. But it's this bride. I mean, she was a very, 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 very nice person. Mm. And again, the groom just didn't. Like I say, he didn't have like. It gave me the feeling that he didn't have. Not that he didn't have no input into it, but he just didn't care. He was just there to have his wedding. And his main goal was to get drunk after he said, I do. That was it. So I can't tell them. I do tell every bride and groom, listen, it is your day. Do yourself one favor. Remember your day. Get a little too much tipsy, too much whiskey, too much alcohol in your system. Not a good sign, because you're not going to remember your day. You're going to see pictures of it, and you might see some embarrassing pictures of yourself in it too. So use your head a little bit.
Yep. So let's jump back into.
It was a Lacy hard drive.
Yep.
I didn't like mine from the beginning anyhow.
I think his smashed it. Yeah. I think his was the Lacy one. Is that the one that has the orange thing around it?
That's the same one I had.
Okay.
It lasted me about 3 months.
Oh.
Then I put a bullet through it. Mm-hmm. That was it. I'm like, nope.
But they also say, is a Lacy hard drive? Because I didn't realize. I thought they all were the same. I didn't realize they were still making the spinning ones.
Yeah.
So, because I didn't realize that until because I'm going to go and finally clean up my music library. And I saw a 2 terabyte one that was like $150-ish or whatever.
But
then the other one, there was another one there for 80. I didn't realize they made a SSD one and a regular one with the spinning things. So if I had to known that, now I'm going to start doing SSD so I don't have to worry about the spinning ones overheating or the mechanical stuff inside of it stop working.
Well, also an SSD can stop too because they only have so many read and write times on them. But I mean, it'll probably last you more than 10 years, SSD, as compared to the old hard drives that have the needle and spins around. All you gotta do is drop that one time. It's toast. That's it.
Yep.
If you're gonna buy an SSD, hands down, Samsung T7, T9 will build. It's so quick, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why I always try to. I know it might be overkill, but it's not overkill until that situation happens. I usually keep multiple backups. So if the first backup doesn't work, I have a backup of that one, so I'll be able to get something back.
Yes.
So Cool Thing said his lasted for 5 years, and he used
That's
it from
good.
gig to gig. Yep, and tons of practice sessions and live streams. And then he said his was a regular spinning hard drive, and that was a 1 terabit.
Same thing I had. Mine lasted 3 months, Cool Thing.
Yep, and then you had mentioned something in your wedding about forgetting or doing the wrong song or something being mixed up. So I was so scared of missing songs or saying the wrong name for the grant entrance that but you'll see it in the next 2 minutes. But this is a picture of my Serato DJ library. So what I do, where you had put down crates for each part of the night, like your the introductions, the wedding party introductions, first dance, dinner, music, cake cutting, all that. I also take it a step further and put down times next to each one. So, for example, at 3 o'clock, I know it's cocktail hour. Then at 4 o'clock, it should be the grand entrance with the parents. And then with this couple, they wanted different songs for each person that came in that I had to read. So for next to each song, I made sure I put the name of that person that song goes to in the order. So therefore, if they change order, the song is still the same. That name will always stay with that song. So I don't have to doing a lot of backwards and forth. So that's how I try to stay on top of my timelines and stuff. So I don't forget things or get the wrong song screwed up with the wrong person.
Well, what I do when people ask me about having different intros for each person, I make one MP3. And it's usually that Wednesday or Thursday before the wedding, because if there's any discrepancy about how they're going to walk in, usually by that Wednesday or Thursday, it's already figured out. So I make them one MP3. I send it out to them. I put a little spacer, maybe like a 2-second spacer that there is not dead air, but it's like one song flowing into the other that you could just barely hear. And then also for each person that's coming in, I put a hot cue marker in there. So, okay, I know if there is a change and number one is now walking in third, but third is walking in one, I could just start off on 3, then bounce right over to 2, then bounce right to 3. So I'll bounce actually back to 1. So this way I don't, how can I say, it's not I don't like to, but there are so many different forms of songs today. You have a remaster, you have this, that, this. I mean, it's unbelievable. You have the quick intro, the extended mix, and a bridesmaid may pick out, well, I want from this second to this second, but the song you have may not be the same song she has. So what I ask every client now is they must send me the MP3 of what song they want. Because if they want me to create on my own, I'm going by what I have. I don't know if it's going to match up what they have.
But see, that's why the Bible app comes in great, because they put the song and you know the exact version. But with this couple also, that's what the last meeting is all about. I tried to meet with
Yeah.
them to make sure, because that's what they did. And meeting with them, I found out their points of time was basically the chorus. Because even with, if they say start on this second, it doesn't really start right at the chorus. So once I'll show my thing again. If you notice, in my Serato, at the top, that blue, where the track is, the blue spot, those are loop points. So for each person, there's a buildup. So I can't do like a pre-recorded like thing, because it may not fall in time right at that time, because something might happen and then things get off. And Buddy said something about, you don't want to do that. You have to tell them, it will make the intro super long. So what I did for each song, even though they just wanted a part of the song, like the chorus, the hype part of the song, I tell them that I'm going to play the intro of the song, and I loop the beginning of the intro. So I let the song play to get the people's attention, to build up that anticipation. Then I loop a part of the song, and then while that's looping, that's when I do my introduction. So I can take as long or as short as that I want to, to do the introduction. And so I set a cue point to right at the chorus. So as soon as I say the name, like for example, I have like number 2, the party rock anthem.
Yeah.
I have it, that loop part at the beginning where they go doom, 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 doom. And then I do the introduction. I was like, next up is the bridesmaid and the groom, Brooke and Jakai. And then right when I say their name, I hit the cue to jump right into party rocking in the night, to do that way.
Yeah.
Then once they come in and do their little dance and take their seats, then I'll do some kind of mix. If it's not a simple echo out, one song had a nice little fade in. It had like a weird sound when they fade in. So the preceding song, I just high pass filter out. So while the music was going, I just did that little swoosh so that the songs fit. So I treated it just like they do on WWE. When they do like a Royal Rumble, each wrestler has their own entrance music. So I just milked that moment. So yeah, that's why I try not to do like a pre-made thing, so it can give me that flexibility to try to make it more cinematic.
Well, with DJ Studio, which is nice, it has all those effects built into it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I tell every couple that's walking in, there might be 6 bridesmaids, might be 8 couples, whatever. They have all the effects built right into the DJ Studio. I tell each couple 12 seconds maximum. That's all you need to walk in. Really, Mike? I said, you go for your rehearsal. You know there's going to be somebody saying, all right, George and Cindy, come on in. You count from the time you walk through the door, the time you get to your table, or if you're going to stand at the dance floor. If you're standing at the dance floor, you got 6 seconds there. Come on. I'm like, count it. And they'll call me up, Mike, you're right. We walked in, walked to our table. We walked slow even. Took us 12 seconds. I told you that's all it's going to take you. But on the wedding day, guess what? Instead of taking 12 seconds, it took 7.5 seconds, because all the people there clapping. Now they get, oh boy, we got to get to our table. They just get so excited. And they are waiting, usually some DJs will wait, okay, I'll let this play out. No, I just hit the next cue point, boom, bring the next couple in. They may take the whole 12 seconds, which would be great. Then the ones that you have to worry about are the ring bearer and the flower girl, because they come in and they decide to walk around, and you got to talk. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, look at that little young couple. But they're stealing the show today. It's just gonna make up a little story for them. Then you hit a reloop again. So it's like, okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Cindy and Jeffrey. Our flower girl, our ring bearer. Then usually their parents are coming up, getting them away from everybody. But they're the most hilarious coming in.
Yep. And Buddy said, you guys just hit 2 hours for your information. Yeah, I know. I get kind of envious of Cleveland Terry. He can go 2 hours. But then also this weekend, I'm hooking up with Kevin, hanging out with him down in Columbus. So I need
That's great.
something. I need something to listen to on my way to Columbus. So
Oh, it's a 2 hour ride?
yeah,
Well, let's go
Columbus
2 hours
about
and
2 hours.
15 minutes so you
Huh?
could reloop this a little bit. But it's a great show. I'll tell you, buddy, you have a great show too. Cool thing, you have a great show too. I mean, I don't know if anybody caught Brian S. Red's live video today. Um, I noticed a lot of DJs are coming out with their own Patreon pages. So, okay, the video will get released to you first before it gets released to the public. But to be a patron, it might cost you $2 a week or $2 a month or $5 a week or $5 a month, whatever that DJ's charging. But you get to watch this 30-minute video of he or she bitching about their equipment or praising their equipment. So you're paying $5 extra a month for a DJ to talk to you about why they hate this equipment, why they love this equipment, or what went wrong with this equipment at that gig. Brian said, I'm here, I'm passing on my knowledge because it was passed on to me. I wasn't charging anything for it. And he's not charging anything for it either. But he's not charging anything for it. Cool thing isn't, we're not. It's our knowledge. I mean, the more you work at it, the easier it becomes. I mean, I've done thousands of weddings already, but prior to introductions, I always get those little shakes all the time. I don't care. You could did a wedding Friday night and then another one on Saturday. Still get a little nervous. You get that. You're looking around the room. Just it's human nature. That's all it is. There's nothing you could say or do. It's part of being human. And if you don't get nervous, then there's something wrong with you,
All right.
But Brian hit on a lot of good, strong points today. He really did.
Okay. So I'm going to zip through this. This
You
what
got
we
it.
were supposed to talk about an hour ago. All right.
I know. I rambled tonight. Hey, I missed you guys last week.
Yep. We missed you too.
Thank you.
All right. So let's get back to our. And then I remembered for the wedding, I forgot the sub. So when I switched off the speakers from the school dance and grabbed the column arrays, I took out one of the subs. So on my way to the gig, I just stopped by the storage unit. So that was the thing I forgot for the wedding.
Get yourself a whip list.
Mm-hmm.
Work in progress.
Yep. All right. Now going back, so the top DJ nightmare was equipment failure. And it says, one way to combat that is to always bring backups like a controller, laptop, cables, power strip, and wired mic. So I at least bring my WeGo 2 to the gigs. Also make sure I bring up my backup music, and I have my other computers on the side here. I usually bring 2 of those. And then the next one's test your gear before every gig. I don't do it before every gig like I should, but I do it every so often. And I test my cords and everything with this cable tester, where it has the different inputs. You put it in there to give you the green lights and red lights, let you know if it's working. And then there's one that Daryl Bennett had just brought mentioned that came out, and that's almost $200. So
Yeah.
I put that on my my wish list, and that's this little thing right here, the X Viva. And the difference is this one actually plugs if you're not getting sound, you actually plug that into like your mixer or your amp or your microphone or controller, and the lights will tell you whether or not that is where your sound issue is coming from.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yep. But it's more because this thing, the little box thing, is only it's less than $50. It's like maybe 30
Yeah.
something.
I got mine from Ben Snow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got mine
think it
from
was-
Guitar Center.
Yeah, I think it was like $100, but it works perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I have no complaints with it at all. Equipment failure is something out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
But I always have a backup. I don't know, Dwayne, do you keep up? Do you keep all your music on your external hard drive? Correct.
No, I have it on my
Internal?
internal. Yep.
Okay. See, I have all my stuff on my external hard drive, but for the wedding, like for the ceremony, introductions and stuff like that, and the main dances, like the parent dances, their first dance, I have it on my external hard drive, but I also have it on my internal hard drive. I figure, I can't limp by because I do put so much music on my internal hard drive. I can still get through the wedding, but I rely on my external hard drives because you get so many off the wall requests, and especially your wedding DJ, you're getting anything from punk rock to alternative to stuff from the 50s to today. There's so much music out there, and every guest wants to hear something what they want to hear.
Yep.
And especially if the bride and groom say, "Yeah, go ahead, hit the DJ up at the sign," then you're like, "I'm sorry, I don't have that one. How about this one? I'm sorry, I don't have that one." And then they're like, "What the heck kind of DJ is this then?"
Mm-hmm. And then the last one was use surge protectors and don't rely on one power source. So I'll make sure I have one of these, the Furman power strip. And this one, if the power goes out and then it comes back on, it kind of like will protect your equipment. You won't get that power surge to like mess up your electronics.
Yes.
All right, the next one, laptop crash and freezing. Always bring backups. Also make sure like Windows is good for this one. I didn't change the words to this one. Windows are good for always doing these miscellaneous updates out of nowhere.
Yeah.
If you can
junk
turn those
updates.
off or updates before you update it before you get there, I would say do that. And also if your laptop crash, you might just have to just chalk it up or have a phone ready, because sometimes it's just a matter of just turning it off and then rebooting it and then it'll be back on. So just as long as you have some music ready to go as a secondary source of audio, so it's just not dead air. Forgetting gear.
Wait. Time out. Wait. I see someone wants a hot dog with onions because he's saying don't use a Mac. Macs are the only thing that are out there for DJing. That's the number one. That's a number one DJ piece of equipment is a Mac.
But he still uses an Android.
No, I have iPhone. I'm all Mac, except for my PC. I'm talking to you now.
All right, forgetting gear. Use a pre-gig checklist. Keep a get-go bag with extra cables. Load card night before whenever possible. And I did all that, but it's just one thing. Going back to this is my checklist that I make sure I check everything off. And I make sure, because this weekend it wasn't about I have this and checking it off, going by memory. I made sure I visually saw it in my car ready to go before I checked it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like with my suit bag. I see my suit bag, I see the jacket, and the jacket's long, so when you drape the pants over the hanger, the pants is under the jacket. I would have just assumed if I didn't go physically look and make sure the pants was there, I would have assumed that the pants was there and then come Sunday morning when it's time for me to get ready to go to the venue, I would have been screwed.
Yeah. Yep. Now, how far was the venue away from your house? Did you say 45 minutes?
Yep, 45 minutes.
That's you're cutting it close up. You have to run back home and get pants. My thing is, I usually wear a nice pair of jeans to go set up. And I've never forgot my pants at home. But I figure if I have a nice pair of jeans and something happens to my pants, like soda spills on them, whatever in the car, at least I have a nice pair of jeans. And they can only see you basically mid chest up, unless you run to the bathroom or whatever. Somebody comes over to request a song. That's about it. So don't worry about your pants. Just
No,
make sure
but remember, if you saw in the video, I was constantly going out on the floor because, like, when I first introduced myself, I go out to where the people are and talk with them, so we can kind of like get break that barrier up. Also, there was a lot of times we did the money dance, so I had to come on the dance floor, give directions, and we did the anniversary dance. So I had to go on the floor and find out who was the oldest couple, so they can give them advice and all that. So yeah, I couldn't hide behind the yeah, I had to move. So the next one was playing the wrong song or miscue. So tag critical songs as do not miss, confirm all details with the client twice, print a timeline with cues and backup playlists. So I kind of like showed you how I did that within Serato, putting that extra stuff on there. And then also with the timelines, also just like you print out extra timelines, like for the grand entrance, how the wedding party should line up. I have an extra copy, so therefore, because some wedding parties, they are more take charge, so I can give the list to them, and they'll go ahead and make sure everybody's in order, so I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And then also I have a timeline to give the photographer, so she can make sure she knows exactly what we're doing, so she can be in position to get those pictures, like to let her know that I'm playing different songs for each couple, so she can be in order, right in place to grab that picture. Also to let her know when we do the anniversary dance that I try to get everybody to come on the dance floor so we can do a group picture. So therefore she's already set and got her plan in her head planned out.
That's the thing is you all want to be on the same page. You don't have to be chasing her down or chasing the bride and groom down. Everybody should be on the same page. They'll look at the watch. Oh, geez. All right, we have to go cut our cake, or we have to do the money dance, or we have to do this. Everybody's on the same exact page. So that's another good thing. Going back to the bridal party, I want to say one thing I did. I started not enforcing it, but giving some guidance to the bridesmaids. Stand on the right, because then their left hand is in here. And even if you stand on the left, you're still, but please don't lift your bouquet while you're walking in, because so many times the photographer has to take that couple back out, take another picture, because the bridesmaid puts the bouquet up, and then look at right here. You see my face? No, you see a bouquet of flowers. The groomsman has a bouquet of flowers for her face, so then they have to go back out and retake that picture. More time on the photographer, more work for her or him.
All right, the next part is forgetting the gig or wrong date. So use a calendar apps with color-coded alerts, send confirmations to clients the week of, and keep a printed gig calendar. So I use Honeybook to kind of like keep everything in order. And now Honeybook got a lot of AI kind of features. So it's always sending out reminders to the client, and and you can also schedule or create like stock kind of email responses that they'll automatically go out at certain times. And also they'll send me updates or when a meeting is coming up, and then send me like things to kind of like refresh my memory about what the meeting is or what this project is about to prepare me for our consultation, phone call or Zoom.
Yeah.
Client doesn't pay. I had a few, it's more so friends. So that's why you got to be careful doing gigs for friends because they'll jip you quicker than a stranger. So
Oh, yeah.
always have a signed contract, required deposit before booking. So mine's, I asked for it to be paid in full 10 days before, and send an invoice immediately after the event. So
Yeah.
mine's comes right when with HoneyBook, your invoice and contract, and then you can pay digital online.
Yeah.
And all that is within the email. You just click on it, and it goes to their profile, and everything is right there, and everything is automatic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, so they can do it digital if they like. And if you do those things, then hopefully you'll be able to queue it up without having those nightmares or gremlins at your
Oh,
gig.
yeah.
So don't be like this guy and forget your speakers because you did not do a checklist and you did not do a walkthrough after you load up your car and head it out to the gig. And therefore you don't have to have sleepless nights worrying about that I do everything or have everything in place that I need to have in place for that gig.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I try to keep church and politics out of general discussions, but this is something that's a life skill that you can take in. And this is from Philippians 4 verses 6-7 that says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So this stuck out to me because it's just like what me and djmikiemike said. Even though bad things happen, there's certain things that is out of our control. So we can't stress over it. It happened, take care of it, move on. But if there's things that we can handle, make sure you handle it. If there's things that happen off of our end user error, make sure you grow from it and make sure you put things in place to ensure that those issues like forgetting your speaker or your cable or whatever, make sure that doesn't happen to you again. So learn from your gigs, learn from your past mistakes, and grow.
What I actually did, I started a little log book.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not for before the gig, it's
Mm-hmm.
for after. I write in, it was at this place, how was the load in, how was the load out. Just a little different things about the venue. So like if I get called back to that venue, I know exactly what they expect. And how the day went, how receptive was I to the guest, and how are they back to me? And it keeps something nice and fresh in your mind. You go back, I have it by date, this wedding, this date, da da da. It's good to have because if you make a mistake, write that mistake in there and highlight it or put that in red ink. You might be just flipping through the pages. Now it's like 10, 12 weddings later, and all of a sudden you're flipping through the page, and like, oh, they say, what was that? And then you read that, like, okay, that's a no-no. I can't do that at this wedding. So, and then write it on that other wedding. I'm not going to do what I did at wedding number 4. Like, I mean, you can start up how you want to have your gig log going. 004, start with 0000, moving on up. Because, like I said, I did over 1,000 weddings already. So if I started at 000, I'd be at, say, 1,022 now. But if I made that mistake and every gig, every wedding I did after that, I would put that mistake in there. Do not do this, what I did at wedding 0042. And I refer back to 42. Boom. I see what the heck I did wrong. Okay, I'm not going to make that mistake this time.
Yep. So to put it in layman's term from the Bible verse, it says, think about it. Dwelling on the past or things beyond your control is unproductive and can increase stress. So again, you don't want to be like this guy stressing over things that, one, you can't control, that's beyond your control, but make sure you take care of things that you can do. So you don't be like this guy forgetting your speaker, the main thing you need to play music at an event. So
And so you have your lights in your booth.
Huh?
You have your lights in your booth.
Yeah.
Hey, we're all human. We all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Can't change that. We're not perfect.
Okay, so it's time to move into our last segment of the night, which is our shout out. And since it's the end of the school year, I'd like to shout out all of the class of 2025 graduates, no matter whether it's pre-K or your daycare, kindergarten, elementary school, middle school, high school, or college. I'd like to shout you all out and recognize you for your accomplishment.
Yes, definitely.
And going back real quick, Cool Thing said he uses an iPhone and Mac all the way. I love my Apple products. So, make sure if you haven't joined us in our Facebook group, just type in Cue It Up DJ Podcast in the search engine and join, because this is not just something that happens every Thursday at 9 o'clock for a couple of hours. This is something that happens beyond once we come off the live stream. So if you have any questions, or you want to shout out, or you want something to discuss on the show, that's a good way to communicate with us, and we'd be more than happy to either message you back through the Facebook group page or answer it on the upcoming event. And also, I like to put extra stuff that we don't cover on the show within the Facebook group page.
Plus, you did a bunch of live videos this past week too.
Yeah, that was last week. Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah, last week.
Yep.
So I mean, that's good because that's related to our show too.
Yep.
You know, it's your input into the show, and I hope people appreciate that too.
Right. And then those that are catching us, wanting to watch the replay, I try to, since the show is so long and we hit so many key points, if you give me till Sunday or Monday, but it wouldn't even matter after tonight anyway, because those will probably be the time they've seen it. Hopefully I'll have put chapters in, so you'll be able to see exactly what we talked about and to jump to it, that kind of like help out. But yeah, it doesn't stop. The show doesn't stop once we end the stream. It continues in the comment section on YouTube.
Well, like Dwight said, or Dwayne said, my phone, the green light's always on Facebook, instant messenger. So you got a question, Wayne called it right. The green light is on, so shoot me an instant message. My cell phone number is right on my Facebook page. Text me. I will answer you. I'm not going to ignore you. Believe me, I will not do that.
And you can reach Mikie Mike here. And he has a whole bunch of different ones. You just pick the one that you like.
Yep.
And then my socials, if you want to follow me, is at HitmanDDub.
I love the covers, man. They're great.
Thanks. And now it's time.
5 fingers.
Huh?
5 fingers.
Oh yeah, because AI is getting better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then too, I know how to. I'm learning how to put in the correct kind of prompts and give it. I guess you could say directions.
Okay.
even from using a sample. If it's like music, since I do beats, creating
Yeah.
a beat so I can kind of like tell AI to kind of like generate something from this idea that I have, or if it's a visual, create a simple visual and have AI just embellish. So
Yeah.
I'm gotten good at doing that.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead because I was getting ready to run down.
I just did the update to DaVinci Resolve, and it's the one Mac has the free version, the other Mac has the studio version,
Mhm.
and the studio version is basically everything is right at your fingertips now. You just press one button, it's doing everything for you.
Mhm.
I have so much video I have to go through. I probably have about 12 hours of video from my different events. And once I get that done, as you've seen this last week, I got swamped. You don't realize how much time you put into it prior to the gig,
Mm.
but this weekend I'm off. Hopefully, I'll get all the audio and video onto my hard drive, and I can start working on them.
Mhm.
I don't want to make. I mean, like I said, 12 hours of video out of 5 gigs, 6 gigs. I mean, it's 2 hours of video for each gig. It's not going to be a cinematic movie for them. It's going to be at least 20 minutes of whatever, and boom, off to the client it goes. It's something on me. I do that for them.
Yeah, that's what I gotta do for the client that I did the wedding for. But I basically I'm just gonna use the same video that I used doing my highlights when I was talking about my gig. So yeah, but it got to the point where I pretty much, because they have this AI like highlight kind of feature in Instant 360 that'll go through your clip and put together like 3 second clips to like 4 minute clips and so on and so on. But I pretty much remember the highlights of the night or the event, and I just pretty much just use that video and just use the feature of the 360 where it can zoom in, zoom out to add that extra transition kind of cinematic kind of feature.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
And we have a group of other DJs that we call the DJ Collective. And before I mention them, the views and opinions expressed during the DJ Collective Network primetime shows are those of those individual hosts and guests of that particular show. They do not necessarily reflect the views or official stance of the different shows of the DJ Collective Network as a whole, its affiliates, or production partners. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. So again, we have a thing called the DJ Collective Network, where it's one culture, many voices. Now see. And I'd like to welcome you to our primetime DJ lineup, a weekly schedule of live stream shows built for DJs by DJs. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, we've got the knowledge, the stories, and inspiration to help you level up. First, we start off every week on Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. For every DJ chasing dreams, no matter the odds, it's your time to spend with DJ Cool Thing. And here in a future episode, he'll be having a new host to kind of like co-host the show with them, DJ Reflex. So that's something coming up in 2026. And then on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, join Buddy and his weekly guest panel of DJs for unfiltered conversations that matter. It's the DJ Roundtable with Buddy from TBM Productions. Real DJs, real stories, real lessons, all at the round table. Right now, the DJ Biz School is on hiatus as far as live streams, but you can check out past shows from the DJ Biz School with Sean, DJ Night Owl. It's not just about spinning tracks, it's about spinning success. Learn the business side of DJing, branding, marketing, CEO, and strategy. And make sure you join our Facebook group page so you can know the next time Sean goes live for the DJ Biz School. And then on Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, it's the Cue It Up DJ Podcast with me, the HitmanDDub, and DJ Mike. It's not just talk, it's real tools for real DJs of all skill levels. So there you have it, our DJ collective, and each one of our groups also have Facebook pages. So join them and also interact with them, and let's spread the community and help each other out. And we would like to celebrate you on our shows as well. And
like Buddy said in the chat, TBN Production Roundtables is on replay on Mondays
at 12 o'clock.
Noon.
Yep. And DJ Cool Thing said, awesome episode, guys. I enjoy watching this show as I usually do every Thursday when I can. Yep, we appreciate you, Cool Thing.
Yes, definitely Cool Thing. Thank you, sir.
Yep,
Thank
can't
you,
wait to
Buddy,
see
too.
your show go live.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we missing our partner that's usually here, our chat all-star. I finally get a chance to see him live in person. We're missing Kevin because Kevin on Thursdays have his karaoke gigs going. But he probably could come in, and I told him he could probably still catch us regardless, because as you can see, we're moving past the 2 hour and 30-minute mark.
Whose fault's that?
Huh? I
Whose
don't
fault's
know,
that?
because this person, he missed the show, so he had to get caught up.
Yeah, I just happy everybody came in tonight, and we're just trying to give pointers to every DJ out there. I mean, we don't know everything, but if we don't know it, we'll try to get you the answers, and we're here to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got help from fellow DJs. Dwayne got help from fellow DJs, and that's what it's all about, helping each other so we can keep growing and growing and growing.
Okay.
And supporting each other.
Right. Yeah, because on Thursdays at 9 o'clock, because there's Cool Thing is Time to Spend. La Ruckus, because they follow us, their show is at 9 o'clock on their channel. And it's called Start to Spin. But it seemed like since we're going over an hour, if you want to hop backwards and forth, I guess that's cool too. Because you can always see the replay of our show. Because we go past 10 o'clock past their time, so you can catch both shows. And then also we're in talk about doing a show together, collaborating. So therefore, our audience don't have to like try to pick which show to go see. We're going to try to put it together so we can do something live. Because I was telling them it'd be cool if we can simultaneously do our shows. So therefore, their regulars can see it on their channel where they normally see it, and our people can see it regularly at the same time. But I'm thinking we can make it happen. I think between all of our brains, we'll be able to put something together. So I'm looking forward to them meeting and doing something with them. But getting back to Kevin. Kevin is normally in the chat, but he's live. Let me make sure I put it up there. He's live on the KJ Chill Room karaoke chat with Matt and Eric. And it's live on Mondays at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But I always see the replay on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock, because that's when I see it on YouTube. So you'll be able to go to the DJ Network TV YouTube channel, and you'll be able to check them out. So that's all of our shows. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to all of our shows. Give us a like, and also make sure to click on the bell so you'll be notified whenever we come out with a new show or a video in general.
Yes, definitely. I mean,
okay.
Again, we're
and
here to
then,
support everybody.
Yep. And then we always leave with a fade out message. And our fade out message is for this week. if you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And I remember hearing this all the time on, I think that's T.I. Hustle, Grand Hustle TV show, reality. He was always telling his kids, if you stay ready, then you don't have to get ready. So,
Exactly.
yep. And then also make sure you always keep your backups and a checklist so you don't be like that guy doing the $100, $200 unprofessional DJ thing and leave his speakers at home.
Now, did you ever find your pants?
No. I looked all over the house. But see, it's gonna pop up when I don't
Yeah.
need it and not looking for it. And it'd be somewhere stupid. Or since at the foot of the bed, it's like these two hampers, and me and my wife, we pile our clothes there. I
Might be
wonder
there.
if when she took her clothes, my pants wasn't mixed into that.
Yep. It's that kills you because you know like I always put them here.
Mm-hmm.
Where do they go? Like you said, you always have them on the hanger, and the coat goes over, and then you open it up, and it wasn't there. You're like, uh-oh, boom, where are they? You know.
Mm-hmm. All right. With that said, I hope you all have a great weekend. And remember, before it's time to spin, you gotta first cue it up. Make sure you kill those gigs this weekend. I'll see you next week on the Cue It Up DJ podcast at 9 o'clock Thursday on YouTube. So take care and stay blessed. See you next week.
Practice and enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'ma rise like the sun while the world still sleeps. Scouring the sights looking for new leads. Marathon gigs with no in between. Your worth is from a rear view they seen. They wanna party, but I'm battling fatigue, chasing passion while my mental is still out on leave. It's an everyday hustle, so respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Cue up the pressure. $1 earned, got a story to tell. Dreams in the booth where the DJs dwell. Clubbing is a struggle like it's all I've got. Set it up, break it down, travel to the next spot. Ambitions, the engine stay sharp like a tool. Revving through my gigs, power drinks is fuel. It's an everyday hustle, we'll respect the DJ life. We make it look easy, but the pressure's tight. Pressure, cue up the pressure. Pressure, pressure, cue up the pressure. Pressure, pressure, cue up the pressure.